My first time ever working the job. Now, this is something I would love to talk about with you guys because this is definitely something that we all relate to. We've all had to get to the work field to get experience, understand the meaning of having money, learning how to save money, learning how to invest our money into different things, putting into savings, you know, getting our credit right. We just get into these type of fields so we could just understand how the world works. Now, this job, my first job ever, was a warehouse job. As you see in the thumbnail, warehouse job, Canon event. Working at Amazon, that's my first job ever. It's definitely done something to my mental, I'm gonna be honest. And it's honestly a good and a bad thing for my mental because mostly good though, because working a warehouse job definitely taught me that I don't want to do that shit. And I'm not sitting up here disrespecting nobody that works warehouse jobs because I worked a warehouse job, so I'll be disrespecting myself. But man, I just, that's not something I would want to do. Now, granted, the pay was good. I'm talking about $19 an hour, damn near $20 an hour working, part-time, working 5 hours from 2 to 7. Man, that shit was good. I ain't gonna lie. That shit was too great. I'm talking about every week getting paid. And it was just, I was working Sunday to Thursday, so it wasn't bad checks. It was like $300, $400 checks every week. Just some slight shit. Making that money as a 20-year-old at the time, like you think you big balling. You think you living like Jeff Bezos and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit, that type of money at 20 years old, making $400 a week, that's not bad. Especially for somebody that is that first time working, that's something that, is a blessing. It's grateful to have because shit, there's a lot of people that would love to work at Amazon to get money like that are in worse situations than I'm in. And I'm in a blessed situation to the point where I'm able to do things like make videos with an iPhone, record with tripods and all that stuff. Like I'm in a great situation, so I would never complain. But at that time, I'm at 20 years old, at 19, 20 years old, I was definitely complaining my ass off about working at Amazon. But I'm going to say this, though. My experience at Amazon was definitely more good than bad. Obviously, the bad is kind of like detrimental because you're just standing there like a slave picking up heavy shit. And then you seeing people that are like way older. I'm talking about like 10, 20 years older than you working this job. And then you get to sit back and thinking like, damn, like, you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be, and it's not no shade on anybody because at the end of the day, we got to put food on the tables. We got to put, we got to put roof over our head. Got to make sure the bills is paid. Because if the bills ain't paid, you're getting the fuck out the house. They kicking your ass out. And if you're living in an apartment, you're getting that little pink slip on the door, getting the eviction notice saying, hey, you can't live here no more. Kick rocks. So I ain't going to shade or talk shit about nobody that is putting food on the table for their families because that is very important. That's the most important thing to any family, any household in the world, making sure that their kids is getting taken care of so they don't have to, do shit like sell drugs or, scam or anything like that to make a living or make an earning. But when I hit Amazon at like 19, 20 years old, training happened. And, jobs, you got to go through training, go through the little procedures. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through a lot of, time where you got to learn the ins and outs, learn who's the boss, know the environment, understand this, like I said, the safety procedures, the shell toe shoes, the vest and all that stuff. You got to go through all that just so you can, make sure that you ain't going to work and you end up killing yourself or something. But, when I hit the warehouse after training, man, let me tell you, that was probably the most miserable shit of my life. And I'm saying this because I was doing things that I never thought I'd be doing. Because, when I came back home from sophomore year of college, At the time I was a computer science major. I didn't want to be a computer science major at all, for real. I realized that shit really wasn't for me. I'm just doing shit I don't enjoy. And I go back to the crib, and then I got to hear say, you got to get a job. And at the time, like I said, I didn't have any motivation. I was very miserable. I was fat. I didn't have no type of, I didn't have anything to like get me going in life. And, working at Amazon and dealing with that shit, that was the last thing I wanted to hear. That was the last fucking thing I wanted to hear. Actually, let me take that back. It wasn't even sophomore year. I think it was like junior year that I got that first job at Amazon. And here's the thing with that, right? My first ever 9-to-5 job came with me being a junior in college. I say second semester to following to my first semester of junior year in college was when I had my first job at 19 and 20. And I remember a lot of my friends had jobs way before me. I'm talking about they was working in high school. I know some of my friends that was working at BJ's in high school, that was working at Publix in high school. And I was telling them like, man, I don't know how y'all doing that shit, bro. I would never work a job. Fuck out of here. And look at me, working a job, putting my pride to the side, putting my ego to the side, and understanding that I got to help my fam out. But, dog, let me tell you, getting to that warehouse, I feel like I was living in the 1800s again, where segregation and all that shit was going down, man. I felt like I was living with Thomas Jefferson and them, man. I was living with goddamn George Washington and them in those days, lifting them heavy ass boxes, going to different stations, getting yelled at in my ear, people telling me what to do, trying to overwork me and shit. And that's the bad thing about working at Amazon. Like, they treat you like shit. They really treat you like you just a fucking robot. And that's the one thing I can't stand. That's the one thing I literally talk about in every video. Like, I'm not finna be walking around living my life seeming like I'm just some nigga that goes to sleep at a charge up station. And like, I have no feelings or emotions. And like, I'm just some nigga that's just not real. Like, nah, I can't do that shit. Like, that's not something fuck no. Like, I can't live my life like that. And working at Amazon, it woke me up to actually wanting to do more with my life than to just sit back and work in a warehouse. Because when you're working in a warehouse, mind you, some days it's hot. At the time I was working, it was the summertime. So all the days it was hot as hell. If you even decide to wear a hoodie and joggers, you just didn't care about your fucking body because you just wanted to sweat. But at that time, though, I did want to sweat because I was losing weight. Because that was when, I wanted to make change for myself. Because I remember when I came home that year, and I remember on the back porch of my house, I was just crying because I was like, I don't know what I want to be in life. I'm 19, 20 years old, and, social media is taking over, I'm out here comparing myself and shit to other people on social media. I'm seeing my homeboys, they got YouTube channels, thriving and shit. They didn't go to college and they doing all this stuff, man. I'm proud of them because it's something I really want to like be like. I want to be able to do things outside of the norm. I want to make change. I want to make a difference. So I'm just seeing them thrive and shit, and I'm just in college miserable as fuck. And sometimes I get on the game and talk with them and they be like, bro, I know you hate college right now, man. I'm trying to tell you, bro. I told you, bro, going to college ain't it. And it's like, I know they're not shoving it in my face because clearly they want what's best for me. Clearly they understand that I'm thinking the same way as them. So, hearing that shit and seeing them progress, man, I'm like, damn, I'm trying to be like them. But yeah, I came home crying and I just wanted to make change for myself. And at the time I was working at Amazon and, like I said, I was feeling like a slave. Like I'm just picking up boxes. They got me going to different stations and shit. Like they changing my station from like the easy shit at Amazon to now I'm out here lifting up big ass monitors and PCs and TVs and shit. I'm picking up Roku TVs. I'm picking up Samsung fucking washing machines and shit. Like they got me doing all type of shit, trying to make me break my back out at the age of 19. Like, no, like that's not what I wanted to be in my life. That's not what I wanted to do. But at the same time, with the bad, there is some good. Because within those moments of my life, I realized that Dog, working at Amazon, I got to do better. And that experience at Amazon, I worked there for about 2 months. And, I was just learning myself. I was collecting information about myself and understanding who I was. I didn't want to be big no more. At that time, I was like 5'10", 260 pounds, working at Amazon, big boy, titties hanging, beer belly and shit, looking down, can't see my ding-a-ling. And, I just wanted to make change for myself. So what I did at Amazon, I was miserable at Amazon. I dreaded working there every fucking day. Well, I was working part-time at that time. So I was working from I say I was working 3 days because I worked at Amazon twice. The first time I worked at Amazon, I worked 3 days out of the 7 days of the week part-time. I had 2 part-times and one day I was working full-time. So, every day, I was going to Amazon. Well, those days I was going to Amazon. I was going to Amazon, going to work, and then I get off and I work out for about 2 hours. And then, I just kept that process going. And, at the time working at Amazon, I'm doing all those things and I'm learning about other people. I'm talking to other people. I'm not even making friends at Amazon. I'm just making acquaintances and shit. And, I'm talking to them and I'm realizing that a lot of people at Amazon are really just there, they there like without no goals. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm better than anybody, but like I'm sitting there and I'm talking to people and they're not making any goals for themselves. Like I'm asking them like, hey man, what you want to do with you, because I know you don't want to work here forever, man. Like I know you trying to do something better with your life, bro. Like what you trying to do? And I remember one dude was like, dog, I ain't gonna lie, man. I just come to Amazon, bro. I ain't really tripping about what I want to be. I just want to go to Amazon, smoke some weed, play the game, fuck on some hoes. And I'm like, dude, this can't be your life, bro. Like I'm sitting at Amazon. And I'm like, dude, this can't be your fucking life, bro. You really wake up with those admirations in your head, bro. And mind you, Amazon is the place where you don't want to have relationships. Amazon, I'm talking about, I've been seeing a lot. At Amazon, I was seeing so many niggas cheat on their girls, bro. Niggas be talking about, bro, the rumor that niggas at Amazon be cheating is so true, bro. There has been so many times I went on break. Sometimes I went to my car so I could just chill, turn the AC on and chill in my car. I used to see niggas cracking all types of hoes. I used to see hoes getting they shit thraxed in the backseat. I remember I was walking out of Amazon one time and I was going to my car and there was this homeboy that I knew. And, he was cool or whatever. He was the one of those that just wanted to smoke weed and fuck on hoes and shit, which is nothing wrong with that. If that's how you want to live your life, that's how you want to live your life. But I remember he was cracking some shit and, my car was parked right next to his at the time because I came to Amazon a little late. And, the parking spots at Amazon, they be like, if you don't get there on time, nigga, you're fucked. You're parking in the far back. Mind you, I was working in the summertime, so it was hot as hell, 90 degrees. So God forbid you got to take that voyage to the car. So I'm seeing his car, and his car is like shaking back and forth and shit. And I'm like, nigga, I know this nigga not cracking no girl. Cause mind you, this nigga's telling me, like, as we talking, as I'm getting to know him, he's like, yeah, bro, I got a girl at the crib right now, bro. Like, yeah, bro. She my everything, bro. Like, she be taking care of me. She be holding it down. But the nigga at Amazon, this nigga cracking the hose. Nigga in the car, the backseat, cracking the hose. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, there is no way. And, I'm getting in my car. This nigga looking over, because it's a break. So nigga looking over and shit, trying to make sure nobody's watching, trying to make sure that, ain't no employee coming out or no security guard coming out seeing the shit. Nigga look over, he like, yo, he make that face like, he's like, yo, no, yo. And he put in his hands over the window like, dog, nah, bro, it's too late, bro. I mean, I ain't gonna say nothing because I ain't no Nick Young ass nigga, but dog, shit is crazy, bro. Like, Amazon is so wild, bro. Like, working a warehouse job is just one of those canon events, bro. Because it's just like you don't know what's gonna happen, bro. And then you go to Amazon, like so much shit be going down. Like you got to deal with the employees. Then you got to deal with the staff. You got to deal with the boss, the managers, and God forbid you, God forbid you hanging it. They got you in a little section where you don't want to be, or you this. They saying, oh, you've been putting up good numbers, because you know how Amazon, they tracking your numbers. So if you putting up great numbers, they're gonna try to promote you to another station where you gotta work extra hard and shit. And then if you one of those employees that be working extra hard, they're gonna try to make you, replace somebody else's like wrongdoings. Like they're gonna try to make you make up for somebody else's shit. Like, nah, like I ain't that type of nigga. Like go get that nigga that was fucking up and didn't want to do his job or his routine. Like don't come to my area talking about some, hey, could you do this shit for him? No. And you really can't say no, because if you say no, then they're gonna be like, I'm gonna have to report you if you disobeying what I'm asking you. I'm like, damn, so what am I, your fucking slave? Like, nigga, this is not, nigga, we're not fighting for the Declaration of Independence anymore. Like, nigga, get out of my ear. Like, Abe Lincoln doesn't exist no more. Like, segregation, like let it go. Like, Jesus. It's like, Amazon is just like one of those things where you just got to have a strong mentality, bro. Like, you just got to have like a strong ass mind, because God forbid you go to Amazon and you just got like, you're already mentally depressed. Not mentally depressed. That don't even make sense. You're already mentally, unstable, and you already don't want to be, you have no motivation. You're very, I ain't gonna say soft, but I'm gonna say you're very, like a lot of shit get to you. And God forbid you working in a warehouse and they don't give a fuck about what you're going through. They don't care if you get an injury because you could be replaced. They don't care about none of that shit. If you pass away, they're not going to put up no statue. And God forbid you're a statue at Amazon, but they're not going to hold no memorials for you. They don't care about you. So Amazon is one of those jobs where it's like you got to be mentally prepared. Yeah, the money is good. Yeah, you're going to have to, you're going to have a little $300, $400 checks if you're working part-time. If you're working full-time, shit, you probably getting like damn near $1,000 a check. But yeah, that job is just like one of those things where it builds you as a man. It builds you as a, it turns you into a different person. Like you get some character development out of it, because you start to realize that these corporations, like I said in the previous video about don't let greedy corporations define you. These corporations try to make you become what they want you to be. Like they try to make that your identity. And you got to understand that, there's more to life than just working a 9-to-5, like working for these corporations that don't care about you. They'll fire you even though you've been working there for 20 years and you've been a loyal, you've been a hard worker, you've made up for everybody else's mistakes, you've never been late. Even when you were late, you still showed up, you showed out, like top worker. Like they don't care about that shit. And that's why at Amazon, that's why I learned. So that's why, I say a lot of times, like, dog, don't let these corporations define you. Like, if you working a 9-to-5, get a 9-to-5 to make some money so you can invest into shit that you want to do with your life. And, along the ways of you making money and working that job that you hate, but you got a bigger goal, just keep remembering that you have a bigger goal. And my experience at Amazon, man, it was just something where, I just had to deal with a lot of ignorant people. I just had to deal with a lot of people, especially from high school. I remember there was a lot of people at Amazon that I met that went to Langston. I'm leaking my fucking high school. Man, but no. If you know, you know, man. If you know, you know. But shit, yeah, like a lot of people I went to high school with, I saw them working there. And, I just hate those type of people where they wasn't cool with you in high school, or, they was like the crowd where they feel like they was too good enough to talk to you, or, like the girls that thought they was the shit in high school. They nowadays, they try to be like, hey, Seth, how you doing? Oh, my God, I haven't seen you in a while. Like, nigga, you was not cool with me in high school, nigga. Don't sit up here and try to be cool with me now. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, you was the shit in high school. Yeah, I remember I was crushing on you in high school. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, cool, whatever. That's 4 years ago. Well, now it's 4 years ago, but at the time it was 2 years ago. So get off my dick. Like, it was just a lot of those times where it was just a lot of bad, but it was also a lot of good too. Cause like I said, it molded me into something that who I am today. And, I've learned a lot about myself, and I've understood that these jobs that I'm doing, these jobs that I'm working, it's only to help me get to where I want to be in life. Like, it only gives me more drive to keep posting videos and keep doing edits and, doing all I can to get where I need to be in life. And Amazon is just one of those jobs where, you know, I had to go to training, had to take drug tests. I had to go and lift up heavy shit, deal with the coworkers, deal with the boss, the manager in my ear talking about why are you not doing anything at your station? Well, I'm at my station not doing anything because there's no boxes coming down because I think I did my job. Like, I'm not here to be going different lanes and shit like that. I'm not going to be going from lane to lane to lane to lane doing everybody else's work. Like, no. And I'm not going to be doing different shit either. Like the moment they moved me from like the little easy shit to now I'm in the back of the fucking warehouse picking up heavy TVs and shit for I think I was working 5 hours. I forgot how many hours I was working specifically because I worked at Amazon twice, like I said. But the first time I worked at Amazon, like they had me like trying to do all this other shit. And I remember I was calling my parents and I was like, yo, mom, dad, like they got me working like a junkie out here. They got me working like a slave, like I'm in a lab like a pig from Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and fucking Rebirth Island. I'm in the lab like a pig just getting fucking fed all types of diseases and shit. Like I'm just one of those, like. And I remember I was just like, is this really what it is? Like, is this how life really like is going to be if I don't do what I need to do? In my head, I'm saying that and I'm answering my own questions like, this is really what life is going to be for me if I don't get my shit together. So that whole time period of me working at Amazon, my first time working at Amazon, I got my health right. I got my mental straight. And I made a change for myself in college. I changed my major from from computer science to sports management with a minor in film. And I remember at the time that, I was working that job and, I made that change that following year. And it was like, say, are you really going to be able to make money and get a job that you want? And I'm like, I mean, even if that doesn't end up being the case, I'd rather do something, that I'm enjoying than doing something that I hate. And I'm failing classes and I'm not very great in math. So I'm not going to be sitting up here trying to learn pre-cal and calculus and trigonometry. Like, working at Amazon was definitely like a canon event for me because it opened my eyes to understanding that I need to get my shit together. Because if I don't, then I'll end up being right back at Amazon. I don't want to be there. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to be there. But that was my little story time. That was my little experience at Amazon. And honestly, that was just something I, just had to go through. And I'm here to share it with you guys because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people working at warehouse jobs or just jobs in general that just want better for themselves. And, those jobs are probably helping them become a better person, probably helping them wake up and realize that there is more to life than working the fucking punch clock. And, I'm here to tell you that I ain't no better. I had to go through my own trials and tribulations to work on myself and better myself. And if you related to this, go ahead and comment down below your experience. Share down below what you had to go through to help you understand and better yourself in life. And as always, man, I love each and every one of y'all, man. Thanks for the support recently, man. I've been working, man. I've been doing all the things that I can so I could, make sure I make it. And, doing things that I love, man. Been wanting to do this shit since I was a kid. So I'm going to keep doing what I need to do. And like I said, if you're new, I didn't even say this in the beginning. If you're new, like, share, subscribe. Love each and every one of y'all. Y'all stay motivated, stay positive, stay disciplined, stay yourself. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.